Hello and good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk About Us. I'm Zach, and today we're covering some local news, some good news actually. This is by Associated Press. Associated Press has 2 lean left ratings as well as a central rating and 2 high factuality ratings, and it is independently owned. Boeing machinists' strike is over, but the troubled aerospace giant still faces many challenges. By David Koenig, Lindsay Wasson, Hannah Schoenbaum, and Kathy Busowitz. Factory workers at Boeing have voted to accept a contract offer and end their strike after more than 7 weeks, clearing the way for the company to restart idled Pacific Northwest assembly lines. But the strike was just one of many challenges the troubled U.S. aerospace giant faces as it works to return to profitability and regain public confidence. Boeing's 33,000 striking machinists disbanded their picket lines late Monday after leaders of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers District in Seattle said that 59% of union members who cast ballots agreed to approve the company's 4th formal offer, which included a 38% wage increase over 4 years. Union machinists assembled the 737 MAX, Boeing's best-selling airliner, along with the 777 or 777 jet and the 767 cargo plane at factories in Renton and Everett, Washington. Resuming production will allow Boeing to generate much-needed cash, which it has been bleeding. Even for a company the size of Boeing, it is a life-threatening problem, said Gautam Mukunda, lecturer at the Yale School of Management. The union said its workers can return to work as soon as Wednesday or as late as November 12th. Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg has said it might take a couple of weeks to resume production, in part because some workers might need retraining. As the machinists get back to work, management will have to address a host of other problems. The company needs to get on better financial footing, but while doing so, it also needs to prioritize the quality of its workmanship and its relationship with employees and suppliers, analysts said. Boeing has been managing itself to meet short-term profit goals and squeezing every stakeholder, squeezing every employee, every supplier to the point of failure in order to so they put order twice, in order to maximize their short-term financial performance. Mukunda said, "That is bad enough if you run a clothing company. It is unacceptable when you are building the most complex, mass-produced machines human beings have ever built. Above all, Boeing needs to produce more planes. When workers are back and production resumes, the company will be producing about 30 737s a month, and they must get that number over 50. They have to do it. And the people who are going to do that are the workers on the factory floor," Mukunda said. Another challenge will be getting the company's fragile supply chain running again, said Kai von Rumohr, an aviation analyst at Financial Services from TD Cowen. Suppliers that were working ahead of Boeing's schedule when the strike began may have had to lay workers off or finance operations on their own. There are lots of nasty questions in terms of complexities that go into revamping the supply chain, he said. One way Boeing could generate cash would be to sell companies that don't fit directly in the business, such as flight information provider Jepson Sanderson, which it bought in 2000 for $1.5 billion, von Rumohr said. They'd lose some earnings, but they'd get a lot of cash to reduce their debt, he added. They really need to get a more stable position where they have a solid credit rating. Ortberg acknowledged the challenges ahead in a message to employees after they voted to end the walkout. There is much work ahead to return to the excellence that made Boeing an iconic company, he said. The average annual pay of Boeing machinists is currently $75,608 and eventually will rise to good job, Boeing, rise to $119,309 under the new contract, according to the company. The union said the compounded value of the promised pay raise would amount to an increase of more than 43% over the life of the agreement. Reactions were mixed even among union members who voted to accept the contract. Although she voted yes, Seattle-based calibration specialist Ip Bolano said the outcome was most certainly not a victory, Bolano said. She and her fellow workers made a wise but infuriating choice to accept the offer. "We were threatened by a company that was crippled, dying, bleeding on the ground, and us, as one of the biggest unions in the country, couldn't even extract 2/3 of our demands from them. This is humiliating," she said. I like that. And I like that because as a union member, especially as like a leader of a union, that's how you should always feel. Even if you got what you wanted, even if everything worked out, you should always feel like the company is coming out ahead somehow, because they usually are. Your union leaders should be fiery. For other workers like William Gardner, a lab lead in calibration services, the revised offer was a cause for celebration. "I'm extremely pumped over this vote," said Gardner, who has worked for Boeing for 13 years. "We didn't fix everything. That's okay. Overall, it's a very positive contract. Along with the wage increase, the new contract gives each worker a $12,000 ratification bonus and retains a performance bonus the company wanted to eliminate. Nice. President Joe Biden congratulated the machinists and Boeing for coming to an agreement that he said supports fairness in the workplace and improves workers' ability to retire with dignity. The contract, he said, is important for Boeing's future as a critical part of America's aerospace sector. A continued strike would have plunged Boeing into further financial peril and uncertainty. Last month, Ortberg announced plans to lay off about 17,000 people in a stock sale to prevent the company's credit rating from being cut to junk status. The labor standoff, the first strike by Boeing machinists since an 8-week walkout in 2008, was the latest setback in a volatile year for the aerospace giant. Boeing came under several federal investigations this year after a door plug blew off a 737 MAX plane during an Alaska Airlines flight in January. Federal regulators put limits on Boeing airplanes production that they said would last until they felt confident about manufacturing safety at the company. The door plug incident renewed concerns about the safety of the 737 MAX, two of the planes that crashed less than 5 months apart in 2018 and 2019, killing 346 people. The CEO at the time, whose efforts to fix the company failed, announced in March that he would step down. In July, Boeing agreed to plead guilty to conspiracy to commit fraud for deceiving regulators who approved the 737 MAX. Damn, what a way to end an article. I didn't know this. I did not know this. They admitted fraud in court. All right, that's the end of the article. These are the two people. There was a third person, but I guess they didn't have as much to do with the article as much as these two. So that's Hannah Schobaum and that's Kathy Busewitz. And I have a cool little video to show you guys today.
We do have some news overnight. I want to get over to Phil LeBeau to talk about it because the strike at Boeing is officially over. So yes, one vote has already taken place, but a different kind of vote. Phil.
Andrew, this was a vote that was taking place. It took place yesterday. The results announced late last night. 59% of the machinists who voted, and this strike impacts about 32,000, but 59%
so
of those
basically
who voted,
60%
it was a little bit
approval.
fewer than that. Those members will get a 38% raise over 4 years. So the machinists are locked in to a 38% raise over 4 years. The work will resume tomorrow. I've had a few people already say to me, well, why isn't everybody back at work tomorrow? Well, it doesn't happen because everybody goes back in tomorrow. It'll be a gradual increase in the number of people reporting all the way through early next week. And then they will gradually increase production. They just can't flip a switch and start cranking out the planes immediately.
Also, I wouldn't be surprised if Boeing comes up with every reason to delay union workers getting back to work and just starts hiring contract workers.
He also released a statement last night saying, while the past few months have been difficult for all of us, we are all part of the same team. We will only move forward by listening and working together. There is much work ahead to return to the excellence that made Boeing an iconic company. The cost of this contract, by the way, is estimated to be about $1.1 billion. That's the headwind that will come with the 38% raise, the $12,000 signing bonus, everything that goes into this contract. But the important thing here, guys, as you take a look at shares of Boeing, is that this now allows the company.
The important thing here is the share price of Boeing. Yeah, I caught that.
Through the end of this year, and then obviously in 2025.
Phil, it's good that it's finally over, but the real question that I have when you look at what Boeing's got to do now, how hard it's going to be to dig out of this hole, and what the relationship is between management and the employees at this point.
Well, I thought Kelly Ortberg's message made it very clear. They need to work together. And when we've talked with him, and when we talked to him after the Q3 financials, he made it clear that one of his top priorities is to get them to a point where they are working together. You're going to really struggle to improve the quality if you cannot get on the same page. This has been a problem at Boeing for decades. And Kelly Ortberg knows it's not going to change overnight, but he knows that fixing the culture is as important as being able to say to Wall Street that we're moving our
Or how
production
about
on a
holding
monthly
management
basis
accountable
up
to
X
stop
number
cutting
of planes.
corners, to stop
You
So how
can't
do
you,
you-
you
making
can sit
cheap
there and
ass
say
planes,
we're going to move up
to
to
stop
X number of
endangering
planes,
people's
but if the quality
lives.
doesn't improve,
Also, maybe can we
you're-
talk
you're
about
spinning
the
your
fact that the
wheels.
workers'
I
lives
was
just
wondering
improved?
the same thing. If you
No?
have 41% of the union that did not vote to ratify this, voted against this deal, are you going to have a disgruntled workforce that's sitting there, and how do you manage that?
Well, look with all contracts, you are going to have a percentage of workers who are not happy with the deal, and they vote against the deal. We saw that with the UAW. We've seen this, with the dock workers. You see this with all of these, and that doesn't mean that the performance can't improve. And that's the challenge for Kelly Ortberg, building the culture again so that they can say, look, everything that comes out of this particular plant, whether it's the 737 MAX, 777, 787, regardless of the aircraft, he wants to make sure that they can say to their customers, when we deliver it, it is the highest quality. That you don't
We'll
have
see.
to do a shakedown and say, oh, look at this. More problems with the planes that we're getting from Boeing. He has made it very clear. That is his top priority.
All right. Well, this has been Let's Talk About Us. You all have a good day. Try to enjoy your Wednesday. I'll see you tomorrow.